If you can't explain something simply, you don't know it well enough. So this is going a little bit beyond the conversations that John Peterson has around precision. And funnily enough, actually a little story, when I read 12 Rules for Life from Jordan Peterson, not very long afterwards, I actually took one of the teams at work through a little session where we were essentially resetting. New people were there. I wanted to get them across, how we treated each other, etc. And I actually created, based off the 12 Rules of Life, my own little subset to share with the team, being like, hey, this is how we're going to treat each other. But one of them was, being precise in your words. And I've kind of honed it in on them and kind of called them out a few times when you'll say these people didn't do something, or no, we're waiting on them. And I'd be like, who's them? Who are you talking about? That is not precise enough. We're going to get in trouble. We're not going to be able to progress as fast forward as we can if you're not being precise. But it also clued me into that to be precise, you have to explain things well and simply, not in some rambling, absolute random tangents going all over the place. So I think if you can't, it goes hand with being precise, but it's a little bit deeper, because if you can't explain something simply enough, you don't know it well enough. It's as simple as that. If you can't explain it in a simple manner that you could explain it to, say, someone brand new that you just come across and you're trying to explain it, if they have to go and understand something further, you don't know it well enough.
I'm not so sure about that, just because I think there's people who can know stuff but just not be good at communicating. And I think those are two different skills.
So that's an interesting point.
I don't think, I'm sure there's a Bitcoin wizard out there who's super autistic and just can't explain all the knowledge that he's got in his mind, put it in the correct order, put it in, and vice versa. I'd say there's people who are very good at explaining things and they probably don't know anything that deeply.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they can communicate in such an effective manner, they're able to, almost get away with not knowing it super deeply.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, good. Okay. I like this little bounce. That clarifies it more in my mind then, that it's knowing the content and then being precise with the words is two very different things.
Yeah.
So it's knowing your stuff and knowing it well enough to be able to communicate it, but then the ability of being precise with the way that you communicate it. So those two that add up to being able to provide it properly.
Yeah, of course, obviously, having both is best, but which would you take if you could only have one of them? That's an interesting question.
I think I'd take the precision. The ability to communicate it.
Yeah.
Because without that, it's almost useless in a way, because you can't communicate it to anybody. Even if you are the utmost expert of Ethereum or SafeMoon or Dogecoin, whatever it may be, Dogecoin, you can't tell anybody about it. Can't really communicate it properly. You might say everybody rocket, moon.
Yeah.
And it's no, you autistic absolute retard. What are you doing?
Rana Roja's going to the moon. I'd probably take the other way. I would probably rather just have super good knowledge of it and then just not be able to get it across deeply, but just show by the fact that I'm now a Bitcoin millionaire that I know my shit.
You know your shit, yeah.
So
although in saying that, you could be a Bitcoin millionaire and not know anything about real Bitcoin. You could have been one of those ones in 2013. You could have been in 2013, bought some Doge, being like, hey, this looks cool. I'll just put $1,000 on it.
Yeah.
You're a millionaire.
Yeah,
and exactly. It's like, cool. I know nothing about it. So,
and those same opportunities abound now. I'm sure there's some NFTs right now you could buy, and in however many years they'll be $1 million assets. And you could do that, but how are you going to do it? Well, it's probably a bit of luck, or the NFT space really well, and these are the ones that are going to really pop off in the future.